Have you identified with that term empath all your life? You feel really empathic, you feel other people's feelings, you feel very deeply. If any of those things describe you and you're like, yeah, that's me, I've always been an empath, da da da, you might actually be a highly sensitive person. And if you don't know what that is, a highly sensitive person is someone who feels very deeply. They may be sensitive to television shows and different things like that. And they also tend to have deep and fulfilling connections with animals over people. And I don't mean like in the general sense where people are like, animals are so pure, and they're mostly just talking about cats and dogs. I'm talking about having this true, genuine connection with animals, like crows and deer and armadillos, not just like the cute fluffy animals, because some people, they're like, oh, dogs don't deserve us, but they're not saying it in the way a highly sensitive person would be saying it. They don't have the connection in the way a highly sensitive person would be connecting with those animals. It's almost like you see each other when you look at animals. You see them, they see you, and there's just a deeper connection, sometimes often deeper than with the people in your life who've known your entire life, and these are kind of the hallmarks of a highly sensitive person. Now, this does not work for me. Following scripts does not work for me. So I'm just going to have to go off the script and just talk. So the thing about being highly sensitive is that oftentimes you are misunderstood by society, by family, by friends. Oftentimes there's a deep sense of being deeply connected to everything and feeling everything deeply, while at the same time being highly disconnected from the day-to-day, highly disconnected from people and the way people live their lives and the apathetic nature of our society in general. As highly sensitive people, you probably were highly ahead of your time when it came to social causes. There were things that you did not understand when it came to society, religion, and culture. You didn't understand why some people would want to hurt people because they thought differently or looked different or practiced a different religion. And while being highly sensitive is on the empath spectrum, I think being an empath and being highly sensitive are correlated but not caused. So some people who are empaths will definitely have this affinity and maybe even be highly sensitive. But everyone who's highly sensitive is an empath, but everyone who's an empath is not highly sensitive, right? Those can be mutually exclusive. But if you find that you tend to feel people's feelings regardless of whether you want to empathize with them or not, you tend to find media and TV and things like of that nature that happen to be violent or aggressive, unsettling. If you find that those things you're not able to watch, or you're feeling what's happening to people in movies and TVs, series and things like that, if you find that you are so connected with animals of all kinds, and maybe even you've had experiences in nature with animals coming up to you very closely. You may even be the person like me. I'm the person in the neighborhood where all the cats come out and talk to me, and the crows get really, really close to me and say hi. I have one that follows me around, but that's a whole different thing, whole different story, okay? But you have these different types of experiences with animals, and even children seem to really, really connect with you quickly, easily, and recognize you as safe. And that's generally because people who are highly sensitive have a deep and full capacity not only to feel, but to hold space for others. And generally, as I'm talking about highly sensitive people, being with the worldview that I have, highly sensitive people are more likely to experience emotional injury and emotional trauma. And when and if traumatic things happen in the lives of highly sensitive people, that is felt deeply as well, right? And so that healing definitely looks different because we have to be reached in a different place. We have to be reached in the place of being seen, being heard, and being understood. And while that's true for many people, I think the thing about healing while being highly sensitive is that oftentimes people aren't attuned to what it means to be highly sensitive and therefore don't have the capacity or space to hold the depths that we hold. So then we don't feel seen, right? And so honestly, if you are highly sensitive, anyone you're working with should also be highly sensitive so that you can be met. And it's important for all of us, wherever we are on our healing journey, our spiritual journey, whatever journey we're on right now, if we are not met by those around us, we will not go as far as we could go with our healing, with our light, with our growth. So feeling understood and having that somatic resonance is of the utmost importance for highly sensitive individuals. And, feeling seen is the thing that connects us with other people. It's the thing that makes us truly and fully feel recognized. Something that I say often and I say as much as I can is, when you don't see yourself, you make up things to destroy yourself. But when you see yourself, you can change. You cannot change what you do not see. And your growth is dependent on what you see. And sometimes being seen by others helps us see ourselves in a way that we've never been seen before. Sometimes it takes another person opening up this space of like, oh, I didn't even know that about myself. I didn't even see that. I didn't recognize that. I think one of the best things highly sensitive people can do to begin taking back their own power to heal and to build connections with people around them so that they can be seen in safe connection, which is a whole other thing when you've dealt with trauma. So if you've dealt with trauma and you're in a lot of connections that maybe don't allow you to exist in them, that is a telltale sign that maybe you are living out the messaging and energies that maybe the energies of that trauma and that experience are playing out in a way that makes you go towards people who will bring up the energies again so that you can choose and react and act in a different way so that you can make a choice about what you want and how you want to heal and how you want to be and who you want to be around. Okay. But we'll put that to the side for a moment. When you are looking for safe connection so that you can feel deeply felt as a highly sensitive person, the most important thing is for you to be authentic. If you are not authentic, you will continue to be around people who don't like you for you. You will continue to be around people who want you to mold and change and shift and do all this so that you can bend to their desires so you can be who they need you to be rather than who you know yourself to be. And the thing about authenticity is that it will always bring you closer to what's your truth for your life, for your soul, for your connections. Ultimately, authenticity is the revealer of intentions. The moment you are truly authentic to yourself, down to the final grain of sand on the beach being washed away, and you are still authentic to every inch, particle, whatever of yourself, is the moment intentions of all the people around you will be revealed, because lies cannot stand the light of authenticity. Deception cannot stand the light of authenticity. So the moment you are true to yourself and your most authentic expression of your own divine being is the moment you will understand what each person around you that you have around you truly feels about you, wants from you. The moment you become fully authentic in yourself, you will start to notice some people act very out of character. They're not acting out of character. That's their truth. Responding to your truth. You will notice some people draw closer to you and be happy for you and happy with you. And you'll notice some people disappear out of your life completely because they benefited from you shifting, hiding, and diminishing all that you are. And as highly sensitive people, we feel a lot. And because we feel a lot, we think a lot and we grow a lot. And we tend to have a lot of awareness about the depths of emotion of ourselves, of other people. But if you've experienced trauma, you are going to, in some ways, be inauthentic to who you truly are, because at some point in time that served your survival. Okay, that served your survival. That helped you get by. That helped you get to where you are now. And now you're at a point where, you're watching this video or listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, I am an empath. I am highly sensitive. I do feel everything. I am like all of this that I haven't allowed myself to be. And I want to be all that I am. For those who have ears, let them hear. If you are not at a place to receive what I'm saying, you will not understand a word that I say. And that's the great thing about authenticity, right? Your authenticity will fall, for lack of better terms, on deaf ears, okay? Because it cannot be received by people who do not have good intentions for you. It makes people who are inauthentic run away or act out to bring you back to the place where they are comfortable. Recognize as you're on this journey of like healing and growing and changing and becoming more of who you truly are, not everyone can come with you. And this is the truest thing ever. Something that I noticed happens with some of the clients I even work with is that as they get better and start to step into themselves and get like this confidence and start getting this like authenticity, and it starts growing and they start getting a little more comfortable in it, people around them start kind of acting up. And what happens is oftentimes you're going to want to take people with you, or you're going to want to help them. You're going to want to support them so that they can get where you are. But what ends up happening is you get pulled right back to the place that you were. Not living in your authenticity, not living in your light, not living in your full, true, divine self. In the moment you do that, is because you're trying to get back to where they are so that you can see each other and understand each other, but you're not being yourself. So they're not seeing and understanding you. They're seeing and understanding the mask that you put back on so that they would feel comfortable. And I'm sure some of you are going to be like, yeah, I had that experience where I was, I felt the happiest I ever felt. I felt more alive and all this stuff. And then these things started happening and then you got uncomfortable and then you kind of shrunk again. My question is, are you going to shrink? Or are you going to fly? Are you going to shrink, or are you going to allow people to put you back in places that you don't even belong? If you would like to support this podcast, please subscribe to my Substack. I have a paid version and a free version. You will get somatic Reiki meditations for cord cutting and energy healing and all that good stuff. Otherwise, I'll see y'all next time.